Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban begins with a year that feels darker before it even starts. Harry is older now, more capable and more aware of the danger around him, but that has not made his ordinary life any easier. In fact, the more he understands about the wizarding world, the less willing he is to endure the cruelty of the one he keeps getting sent back to. This time, the story opens not with wonder, but with anger, fear, and the sense that something has escaped into the world that is coming straight for him. Harry is spending the summer with the Dursleys again, and the atmosphere in the house is worse than ever. Uncle Vernon and Aunt Petunia are just as cold and selfish as always, but the real disaster arrives when Aunt Marge comes to visit. She is loud, cruel, and delighted by every chance to humiliate Harry and insult his dead parents. Harry tries to hold himself together, but after years of swallowing his anger, this is the moment where it finally breaks. Magic bursts out of him without control, and Aunt Marge swells up like a balloon and floats away. Harry does not wait to see what punishment might follow. He packs his things, storms out, and leaves the house in the middle of the night. That is when the film reminds us how strange this world can be, even in its darker moments. Harry is picked up by the night bus, a wildly chaotic rescue for stranded witches and wizards. On board, he learns the first major piece of news hanging over the year. A dangerous prisoner named Sirius Black has escaped from Azkaban, the wizard prison that no one ever escapes. The wizarding world is terrified, and the rumor quickly forms around Harry as well. Black may be coming for him. When Harry reaches the leaky cauldron, Cornelius Fudge, the Minister of Magic, greets him with surprising warmth instead of punishment. That alone feels suspicious. Harry is allowed to stay there before school starts, and for a brief stretch he gets to live in a way that feels almost normal. He meets up again with Ronald Weasley and Hermione Granger, but even their friendship is starting to show pressure from growing older. Ron and Hermione argue constantly. Hermione is taking more classes than seems physically possible. Harry is more withdrawn than usual. The trip back to Hogwarts turns disturbing fast. A Dementor boards the train searching for Sirius Black. These creatures are not simply prison guards, they are living despair. Their presence drains warmth, hope, and joy from the air itself. When one comes near Harry, he collapses harder than anyone else. He hears his mother screaming in the last moments before her death, and the sound tears through him like a memory he never owned until now. He is rescued by a new teacher, Professor Remus Lupin, who drives the Dementor away and gives him chocolate once the danger passes. That first encounter sets the tone for the entire film. The threat this year is not only external, it reaches into Harry's own mind and pulls pain to the surface. At Hogwarts, the staff introduces more changes. Rubeus Hagrid has been promoted to care of magical creatures professor, which is wonderful in theory and chaotic in practice. The new defense against the dark arts teacher, Professor Lupin, immediately seems different from most adults in Harry's life. He is tired, kind, intelligent, and never tries to impress anyone. He simply teaches well. The danger outside the school is still growing. Because Sirius Black is at large, Dementors are stationed around the castle grounds. The idea is protection, but for Harry their presence feels more like a threat than a shield. Every time they come near, he hears more of the worst night of his life. School itself becomes a mix of growing tension and scattered bright spots. In one of Hagrid's first lessons, the class meets Buckbeak, a proud and powerful hippogriff. Harry approaches the creature with respect and earns its trust, even flying on its back. It is one of the film's rare moments of pure joy, but that joy does not last. Draco Malfoy, being exactly who he always is, provokes Buckbeak and gets scratched. The injury is minor, but Lucius Malfoy turns it into a political weapon, using influence and outrage to threaten Hagrid's career and Buckbeak's life. Meanwhile, Lupin's classes become some of the most important parts of Harry's year. Lupin teaches the students to face dark creatures not just with spells, but with understanding. One lesson centers on a boggart, a shape-shifting creature that turns into whatever a person fears most. For each student it becomes something different. For Harry, the boggart becomes a Dementor, which says everything about what is really haunting him. Lupin steps in before Harry has to face it fully. The mystery around Sirius Black keeps tightening. He somehow breaks into Hogwarts twice without being caught. Each time the danger feels more personal, everyone around Harry assumes Sirius is trying to kill him. The reason seems obvious. Black was one of Voldemort's supporters. He betrayed Harry's parents to their deaths. He murdered people and laughed about it. That is the story everyone believes. Harry believes it too at first. That belief hardens when he secretly overhears a conversation in Hogsmeade. He learns that Sirius Black was once one of his father's closest friends, and he was supposedly the man who betrayed James Potter and Lily Potter to Voldemort. For Harry, this changes everything. Sirius is no longer a distant criminal. He becomes something far more personal. From that point on, Harry starts wanting not just protection from Sirius, but revenge. At the same time, smaller tensions keep building around him. Ron and Hermione are fighting over Ron's rat Scabbers and Hermione's cat Crookshanks. Hermione is exhausted and constantly on edge because her impossible class schedule is stretching her to the limit. Harry is secretly using the Marauders map, a magical map given to him by Fred and George, which shows every person moving through Hogwarts. The map becomes a tool for sneaking around, but it also plants key clues that matter later. The emotional weight of the story sharpens when Lupin begins privately teaching Harry how to defend himself against Dementors. The spell he needs is difficult because it requires summoning a powerful happy memory strong enough to drive despair away. Harry struggles with it because his life has not given him many such memories. These lessons are not just about magic. They are about forcing Harry to find light inside himself even while darkness keeps trying to define him. Then another blow lands. Buckbeak is sentenced to death. Hagrid is devastated, and so are the trio, because the sentence is clearly more about Lucius Malfoy's influence than justice. Everything in the film keeps pointing back to the same truth: power is often used by the wrong people. The final stretch begins with another loss. Scabbers disappears, blood is found. And Ron believes Crookshanks killed him. That conflict pulls the friends apart right when they most need each other. But events move too quickly for anyone to stay focused on small resentment for long. On the day Buckbeak is supposed to be executed, Harry, Ron, and Hermione visit Hagrid. He is brokenhearted and the whole scene is soaked in dread. Then Scabbers suddenly reappears, and in the chaos that follows, a huge black dog attacks Ron and drags him into a tunnel beneath the Whomping Willow. Harry and Hermione go after them, and the story finally reaches the heart of its mystery in the Shrieking Shack. Inside, the truth begins to break open. The black dog is Sirius Black, but he is not there to murder Harry. Before Harry can fully understand that, another figure arrives. It is Lupin. For a moment it looks like the worst possible betrayal. Harry trusts Lupin, and now Lupin seems to be siding with the man who betrayed his parents. But then the story turns again. Sirius tells Harry that he is innocent. The real traitor was Peter Pettigrew, another of James Potter's friends, a man everyone believed dead. It sounds impossible until they reveal the truth. Peter did not die. He transformed himself into a rat to escape detection. Scabbers is Peter Pettigrew. This is one of the strongest twists in the series because it rewrites almost everything Harry thought he knew. Sirius did not betray his parents. Sirius tried to hunt the real traitor and was blamed for the destruction that followed. For years, he has lived as a hated monster while the true coward hid in the pocket of Harry's best friend. The emotional force of this scene comes from how much it gives Harry and then threatens to take away. In a matter of minutes, Sirius transforms from the most feared enemy in Harry's mind into something almost unimaginable. Family, not by blood but by love and history. Sirius offers Harry a home, a future outside the Dursleys, and a living connection to his parents. But the film does not allow that hope to settle easily. Just as the truth comes clear, the moon rises and Lupin transforms into a werewolf. Sirius turns into his dog form to protect the others. Pettigrew escapes in the chaos. And when Harry and Hermione try to help Sirius, everything crashes into disaster again. Sirius is captured. The Ministry moves quickly to execute him. Fudge is prepared to accept the easy version of events rather than the true one. Harry is forced to watch hope slip away almost as soon as he found it. Then the story reveals the purpose behind one of its strangest details. Hermione has been using a time turner, a magical device that lets her move backward through time to attend multiple classes. Dumbledore quietly tells Harry and Hermione that more than one innocent life can be saved if they understand what to do. What follows is one of the most elegant sequences in the film. Harry and Hermione go back in time and move through the edges of events the audience has already seen, now understanding the hidden causes behind them. They rescue Buckbeak before the execution. They avoid their earlier selves. They reach the lake where Harry had once thought he saw his father cast a powerful Patronus to save him from a swarm of Dementors. Waiting for that savior to appear, Harry realizes something crucial. No one else is coming, it was him. In one of the defining moments of his early life, Harry steps forward and casts the Patronus himself. The spell bursts from him in full strength because this time he knows what he is protecting and who he is becoming. With Buckbeak saved and the Dementors driven back, Harry and Hermione use the creature to rescue Sirius from the tower. He escapes into the night instead of to his death, and the film leaves Harry with a strange combination of loss and possibility. Sirius is still a fugitive. Pettigrew is still free. The truth is not publicly restored, but hope survives. The Prisoner of Azkaban works because it is the moment when the Harry Potter series truly grows up. The world becomes morally more complicated. The enemy is not always who everyone says it is. Authority can be wrong. Kind people can carry terrible secrets. Trauma does not disappear just because a person is brave. Harry is no longer just a child discovering magic. He's a boy learning that the past is alive, that adults can fail, and that he will sometimes have to act without certainty. It is also a story about identity. Sirius is trapped inside a lie. Lupin is defined by a condition he did not choose. Hermione is carrying impossible weight because she is trying to be everything at once. And Harry himself is living in the space between his parents' history and his own future. So Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban ends not with neat closure but with the kind of victory that feels real. Buckbeak lives, Sirius escapes. Harry survives another year and learns something powerful about himself. He cannot fix the whole world yet. He cannot even fully clear the name of the man who should have been his guardian, but he can see more clearly than before. And sometimes growing up begins exactly there, in the moment when the world becomes more frightening, more complicated, and somehow more worth fighting for anyway.